So there is something, I think, just maternal about being a Black woman in this country. And there is also something very true to Black womanhood about the trauma that we suffered. So we're going to watch this clip together where someone is talking about the trauma of motherhood. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I don't think people really recognize or consider the mental well-being of moms.
Where are the resources?
There's no resources. Nobody even wants to discuss how motherhood can impact your mental health. I had a whole conversation on an episode with a therapist with us in therapy, and we had a conversation around how motherhood can affect your mental health. Imagine worrying about someone else all of the time, in addition to the other things that you're trying to juggle. And this is a constant job. And like I told you, just because they become adults, that does not necessarily mean that goes away. That's another level of worry and another level of motherhood at that point. But nobody wants to talk about the fact that motherhood absolutely has an impact on our mental health and our mental well-being. I have PTSD from motherhood, and I will shout that from the mountaintops.
Yeah, I mean,
spot on.
Yes, I'm gonna ask, how has motherhood impacted your mental health?
Oh man, that is. I need to find that clip.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Yeah, that's spot on. It reminded me when we first had Mason, and just kind of getting adjusted to going back to work. I remember that the feeling of not being able to think about anything else. I mean, from the time you wake up to the time you wake back up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was just constant. And I remember that being a thing I had never felt before. Right. I know he's in a safe place, but I'm thinking, did he eat everything that his grandmother tried to feed him? Right. And that's a worry, right?
Yeah.
Was the milk too hot or too cold? I mean, you just constantly think, what are we going to eat for dinner? I'd never spent so much time planning meals.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you didn't, because it's just you know, you eat, you don't eat, you find it, you know, but someone else is depending on you making a decision. And if you don't, it just doesn't happen. Right. And then that person is just affected by it. I remember that being one of the most difficult emotions to figure out. And it's not something that they tell you at the OBGYN. I'm sure that our mothers felt that same feeling. But I've never heard that conversation. It's all, you know, they always say it's different, you know, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
You'll get through it, you know, and I had a partner, so it's like, y'all are figure it out, you know, but that specific emotion of, and it's still there, of like just constant worry. Because without your decision, that person goes without. Right? That is almost all consuming. You have to teach yourself, and I'm still doing it, how to compartmentalize and be okay. Like just calm yourself down.
Yeah.
Right? Just like they're okay. You know, even without that decision, that moment, you know, they're okay. And that's PTSD all day.
Yeah.
For sure.
There was an article in the New York Times in September, and they talked about the headline was "Ignore Your Kids More," and it was pretty much like, you know, like helicopter parent. It doesn't work, you know. And the truth is, if you don't cook your son dinner one night, I bet he'll figure out how to eat, you know. And so I wonder. But that's a small thing you're saying. I want to first acknowledge the just the worry that comes with parenting. And I can only talk about parenting and motherhood as a child, as someone's child. And I am a grown woman, been taking care of myself for 30 plus years. And my mother still wants to know, did you make it? Did you land okay? Did you get home? Like if she just randomly calls me and I'm like, I'm walking from Whole Foods, going back, okay, well, text me when you get in the house. I'm not going to do it. I was just telling our executive producer, sometimes my mom will text me like, hey, did you land in Atlanta yet? And I'm like, nope, the plane crashed. You didn't see it. You know, I just say something to her because I'm like, Mom, like, stop. I know, I'm terrible. I know, I'm terrible.
My mom is gone, but I'll never forget working at Georgia Pacific. I think my office was definitely on the 38th floor because my father wouldn't go up that high. And my mom called the main number to Georgia Pacific because she heard a report of some tragic thing that happened somewhere in Atlanta. And she just wanted somebody to tell her that I wasn't anywhere near that. Well, she didn't realize I was HR. Right. So the operator called me and said, Sandy, I got to have your mom on the phone. She wasn't, do you want to talk to her? No, I don't want to talk to her. She was trying to be anonymous. Let her be. So. But, those are things that, I was 40 something.
Yes.
And still trying to figure out ways to.
I'm 40 something.
Right.
Trying to figure that out.
Yeah. But the worry for her.
Yeah.
And my mother, as I said, she wasn't the grab you, hug you, kiss you, I love you kind of mom.
Mm-hmm.
But that worry was still there and demonstrated in any number of ways, any number of times.
Well, you said something that really strikes me. And how long ago is your mom being gone? How long ago?
About 5 years.
About 5 years. Mm-hmm. So my mother, prayerfully, and I'm blessed to say, is still with me. Mm-hmm. We've had some health scares, but my mother is doing great. She's fine and here. But I so worry. Like, I'm not going to be right when she's not here. Like, I'm bracing myself for that because that's the cycle of life. We know we're here for a finite amount of time. Right. We have our parents for a finite amount of time. Yeah. And just the thought of being on this earth without her, it does not compute. My mind cannot imagine it. So I do think about people who don't have kids. So I'm someone, I don't have children. Right. And then when my mother goes, I will be an orphan. No. So how does I will, because I won't have parents and I don't have kids. So the question I ask myself is, how does the branch survive without the root or the leaf?